Song means so much to me. That song was sung 17 years ago at my ordination, almost the exact same way that we sang it this morning. And then you may or may not remember that it was also sung 5 years ago at my installation here at being the minister of Kensington Community Church. So I want to say thanks, Sage, and the choir for bringing that to us this morning. It means a lot to me. Hopefully it's meant a lot to you. So in lieu of a formal sermon this morning, I'm going to give what I like to call my State of the Church address. It's something that I have done during my 17 years of ministry on the days in which we have our annual meeting. So if you are visiting with us for the first time today and you're looking for a sermon, I come back next week. But hopefully this will not only give you an understanding of who we are as a church, but also lift your hearts and fill your spirits this morning as well. So as I begin my State of the Church address this morning, I want to make one thing perfectly clear. If you don't remember anything else this morning, please remember this: that even with all sorts of bumps and bruises in 2017, even though we had some meandering ways and we lost some very dear friends and church family members in 2017, I feel that God has blessed us abundantly and richly here at Kensington Community Church. And if you don't hear anything else, I want you to hear my gratitude and my thanksgiving for the amazing ways in which God has blessed us in this place, individually and collectively. I really feel one of the reasons why we have been so blessed is we have been dedicated, we have been steadfast in our deep belief in the ways in which we feel God has called this community to live out our vision and our mission here at the church. That we truly have tried to embody as much as we possibly can on our very best days, and to ask forgiveness on those days that we haven't done it so well, to truly be a place where people can be themselves, belong to a community, and discover the different beliefs and faith traditions in which speak to their hearts. And we have done that by living into a song that is an old traditional hymn that speaks to my heart almost each and every time that we sing it, whether it's at a memorial service or here at our church, and that is Just As I Am. We tell people they are welcome and they are loved and they are invited to participate in the mission and ministry of our church just as God created them to be. They don't have to hide anything about themselves. They don't have to come and put a face on. They don't have to come and fake it and try to be someone else. They can be themselves and bring what is going on in their lives to this place, and we will love them, and we will affirm them, and we will welcome them, and we will invite them to participate in our mission and ministry together. And I feel like we have made huge strides in 2017 in becoming a community that is centered on Christ's name and living out our ministry and mission as his disciples and his agents. And yet, with blessing does not come a promise that there will not be pain and tears and bumps and bruises. I miss our friends that we have lost this year. I know in my own family that has happened, and in my church family that has happened. And I have often said to David, I am tired of burying my family and friends. And yet I am always so honored and humbled whenever I have a chance to celebrate their life with you. And we have been filled with goodness and graces here at Kensington Church by God. And I truly believe that as we turn the calendar page from 2017 to 2018, the state of Kensington Community Church is as strong as it has ever been in the 5 years that I have had the privilege to be the servant leader and pastor of this wonderful, amazing community of faith. We are strong. And I think one of the major reasons for our strength and our vibrancy of our ministry and mission is because we have allowed people to discover their song of Zion and then encourage them to sing that song here at the church. And because we have allowed people to discover their song and sing their song of Zion, we have been blessed by those songs of Zion. This past week, I was talking with my friend Rabbi Devorah Marcus from Temple Emmanuel in Del Cerro, and my friend Reverend Dr. Lee Hill at Christian Fellowship UCC over a cup of coffee and a bagel and a schmear. And Rabbi Devorah remembered, or you may remember her, she gave the sermon last year on Women's Sunday. She preached on the women who helped Moses evade the death, the killing of children, and talked about the hand of God. We're going to be talking about that this Lent, and I really am just tempted to just show you her sermon again that Sunday. It was so good. But we were talking about Psalms, Devorah and Lee and I was talking about how this week I'm not really doing a sermon, I'm doing the State of the Church address, and she gave me this wonderful understanding of this Psalm 137. This is what she said to me. Every person, Rabbi Devorah said, has a version of the Song of Zion ringing in their hearts and in their spirits. And all of us, as God's children, long to sing our Song of Zion. But the weight of the world and the brokenness of our reality suppress our song. They tell us to be ashamed of our song or to be embarrassed of our song, or they beat us down to a point where we don't have the energy to sing our song. But that desire to sing is there. But the grind of the everyday and the tragedies either we witness or the tragedies that we experience in our lives muffle that song. But when we find a spiritual home, when we find a community of faith that gives us space, a sense of place, security and comfort and affirmation, when we have a sense of home in a community and we feel that we are surrounded by God's people, then either slowly over time or sometimes with just an act of immediate exuberance, we will get up and we will start to share our song with the world. We will sing it out loud. We will make a joyful noise to the Lord, and we will sing our song of Zion that God has granted us with vigor and passion and humility, that this is not our song, but this is God's song that is written on our hearts. And when we sing it out loud, and we find that others have the same song written on their hearts, or maybe they have a slightly different variation of it, or maybe they have a completely different tune that we've never heard before, that we all then are able to sing the songs of Zion, and we form a choir with a melody that reaches out around the world, and we reach a harmony that reaches up to God and the angels. And this song has the power to transform lives and heal spirits, and it is a balm in Gilead for the sin-sick soul. And I truly believe, now that I have been here, blessed to be here and to work with you side by side among you and to be the pastor of this place, I believe that we are strong because we have made sure that this is a place where people's song can be sung. And then we have been blessed by their song. And they have been blessed by ours. And the songs that God has given each of us to sing has bound us together in a choir as disciples and agents of Christ. And I hope that you feel motivated to sing your song and to share your song, and you feel safe enough to share your song in this place. Now, there are two primary songs that I want to talk a little bit about as we go on with the State of the Church address. The first song that I would like to talk about after I have a drink is the song of mission and outreach. In the 5 years that I have been the minister of this church, we have expanded our song, and we have added lyrics and verses to our song of mission and outreach to a point where it is one of the primary songs that we sing here. It is a tune that people have claimed as their own, and they have participated in this amazing choir of mission and outreach. We recognize, as the spiritual was sung earlier this morning, that Satan has people bound, but we believe that when we sing our song of Zion, Jesus will lift them up. And we have a song sheet of the many ways in which you have lived into this mission and outreach this year, and it is the very first page on the green insert in your bulletin. Take a look at that insert, and it tells you all the ways that we have lived into our mission giving this year, and it doesn't even mention the monthly Rachel's House. It doesn't mention the gas that people burned visiting our shut-ins and folks who are no longer able to come to church on a regular basis. It doesn't even mention the countless hours of volunteer work that people have donated to this place, that if they even charged us minimum wage, we would be bankrupt because we couldn't pay them enough. So I want to say thank you. Look at that sheet. Thank you. It is phenomenal, the amount of time and energy and effort we have sung the mission and outreach song here at our church. And I also hope that you know that this song of mission and outreach is more than just doing a good thing. All of those things are good in and of themselves, and that we should do because they are good in and of themselves. But we don't do them because they are just good in and of themselves. We do them because they are examples of how Christ lived. By doing this ministry, we are living into the ways that Christ healed the sick and cared for the widow and orphan and welcomed the stranger and visited those who are imprisoned. And of course, one of the major ways that we have lived out and sung this song of mission and outreach is being intimately involved in the songs of Jumi and Tulu. The ways that we have been in relationship with them and joined the choir of their lives has been such an amazing blessing for this congregation. The ways that they have blessed us pales into comparison to the ways that we have blessed them with our gifts of time and money and energy and prayers and friendship. But our support to Jumi and Tolu wasn't just doing something that was good. It was literally the answer to their prayers to God. At a time when people in this church were looking to be intimately involved in wrapping their head around the immigration and refugee and dreamer conversation going on in this country, Jumi and Tolu crossed the threshold into our sanctuary and entered into our lives. When they crossed the threshold into this place, they were living out of their car, a car that didn't even belong to them, that a friend had given to them for them to live in. Tolu had gone to 5 different schools in less than 6 months. They were jumping from couch to couch to couch. So the gifts that we were able to give them through our undesignated funds, as well as your amazing contributions, as well as me using my pastor's discretionary fund, which gets filled up many ways when I do weddings and funerals and baptisms, was a way for them to be granted an opportunity for their quality of life to rise, and for them to take advantage of the things in which are essential for life that we hardly ever give any thought to. A home that they can come back to day in and day out, every day, that is safe and warm and stable, where Tolu could do homework every day at a desk, where they can rest when they are tired, when they can sit and heal when they are sick. So thank you. This was a magnificent and miraculous ministry of our church this year that participated in the true example of the resurrection of Christ in their lives. And they were more than a mission-giving opportunity for us. They were our friends and are our friends. They were the very embodiment of the bruised and battered person lying on the side of the Jericho road. And instead of walking past them and ignoring them, we acted as the Samaritan would. We acted as Christ would. And the $12,000 that we gave them in support over this last calendar year is an investment in the thing that Christ invested in. People. Christ's sisters and brothers. God's children. Who gave up everything for an opportunity to come and live out a dream. Who escaped torture and violence and possible death and came into our midst. And we acted as Christ's agent of love and compassion and understanding, giving them not only a chance for sustainability, not just the chance for survival, but giving them a chance to thrive, which is what we all want for people's lives. So the song of mission and outreach was an amazing song we sung this past year. Thank you. But there was another song that we've been singing over the last 6 years. If you have a long enough history and tenure here at the church, you have heard it sung many times since Kathy Stevenson taught it to us 6 years ago. It is the song of our 5-year fiscal plan and deficit reduction and deficit responsibility. And I'm so pleased to announce to you this morning that we have reduced our deficit budget here at Kensington Community Church due to the amazing generosity of its members and friends, as well as the excellent financial stewardship of our leadership, to be under $10,000 this year. That's practically balanced as far as I'm concerned. This is down, for those of you who know and those of you who don't know, down from where we were 6 years ago when we ended our year-end deficit at $102,000. As the spiritual says, we have come this far by faith and diligence and courage to make tough choices, and of course, because of the amazing generosity of the folks of this congregation who either gave again and again and again, gave for the first time, and the so many of you who have increased your financial giving to our church year in and year out. But I want you to notice one very important fact about those two songs. The song of mission and outreach and the song of fiscal responsibility are not mutually exclusive to one another. You don't only have to sing one, and they are in harmony with one another. That we reduced our deficit to under $10,000 at a time when we gave more money away to people in need. You don't have to say we're only going to take care of ourselves and forget the people beyond these four walls. And likewise, we can't give everything away or this place wouldn't exist and there would be no more opportunities for us to give to people outside these four walls. Hope that makes sense. So I am very excited of how we will live out our mission and ministry that God has set before us in the year ahead. I have some ideas on how to do that. I want to present one of them to you at this time. We have some amazing people in our congregation who continue to sing the song of Zion here at Kensington Community Church well beyond the time in which they have breathed their last. We call them heritage builders. And they have named people within they have named this congregation in their estate and planned giving. I too have done this, mostly so that when I am finally dead, this church can finally be reimbursed of the amazing ways in which I've spent a lot of your money. Well, one of the people that we lost this last year is our sweet sister, Joanne Morrison. Not only a heritage builder, but a woman who was a Jubilee member of our congregation, meaning that she was in this church for over 50 continuous years. Joanne named this church in her estate, and that estate produced over $100,000 in a gift to our congregation. Joanne was a lifelong educator, a teacher, a librarian. What if we didn't just put her $100,000 into our undesignated funds where it could accrue interest? but we put it into the continuing education fund. And then we opened up the continuing education fund to people within our congregation who might need a little fiscal help with a new course, a new certificate, a new life skill, so that they then can make an impact, so that gift could make an impact in their lives, and then they could make an impact in our world in honor of Joanne. Is that something that we might be able to consider as a song that we might sing here at this church? A song of Zion that is written on our hearts that Joanne sang. So as we move forward into the future, sisters and brothers, know that our church is strong and thriving and magnificent because of your generosity and the blessings of God this day. Let us sing the songs of Zion so that we can sing, as we did this morning, a new church into being, one of faith, one of love, and one of praise for the amazing things that God has done for us here. Thank you, and may God bless this great congregation and every member, friend, and visitor that crosses our path. Amen and amen.